shop owner in Germany has banned Jewish people from entering his store, but he insists he is not a Nazi. The town's mayor described it as a reminder of the darkest chapters in Germany's history. Recall, back in the 1930s, this was reality. The Nazi regime organised an orchestrated boycott of Jewish goods and carried signs with anti-Jewish slogans, as you can see on your screens now. Disgraceful and despicable part of human history. And in the current day Germany, the shop owner is currently under investigation from the German authorities. Well, I'll speak now with our next guest. That's the Director of Investigations and Enforcement at the Campaign Against Antisemitism, Stephen Silverman. Stephen, I'm not Jewish. I have to say, when I saw this story, chilled me to my absolute core, and that is because I was taught at school about the Third Reich. I was taught at school about Kristallnacht, about the shameful bullying and persecution of Jewish people in the Weimar before the Holocaust. How on earth can this be happening again in modern Germany?
I think it's a very simple answer, Martin. It's an expression of explicit, and it has to be said, smug and self-satisfied racial hatred that is shocking, and it's made all the more shocking by the almost casual nature in which it's expressed. But no one should be surprised. We have been on this trajectory for 2 years. I mean, you and your viewers will know the old expression, give them an inch and they'll take a yard. Well, Islamist and radical left extremists have been given miles over the last couple of years, far more leeway than other flavors of extremism. And it has created a permissive climate in which people believe that this is possible because they've learned that usually there are no consequences. It's a complete failure of government, and it's a total failure of law enforcement. And it isn't just a problem for Jews. Every decent person should be alarmed by this, because if it becomes possible to do this to Jewish people, when there are no more Jewish people left, it will be done to other minorities. So this is where we are. It is unbelievable. I mean, it's happened in Germany, and you would expect that the German authorities will come down like a ton of bricks on something like this. They usually do. But that doesn't make it any more reassuring.
Stephen Silverman, the details, again, they just really chill me. The store owner, a gentleman called Hans Walten Reich, he owns a small specialty store. He put a sign initially in his window. The sign read, "Jews are banned from here." Nothing personal, no anti-Semitism, just can't stand you.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com facebook.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
That's blatant, abject, naked racism.
And it sounds as though he thinks it's funny as well. I'm a little to the left, a little to the right, but not radical. I'm not a Nazi. Well, I'm sorry, but you most certainly are a Nazi, at least in your attitude towards Jews. You know, there are two... Anti-Semitism tends to divide into two flavors. The political anti-Semitism of the left, where Jews are discriminated against and abused because of what they think their political views are, and social anti-Semitism, which was the anti-Semitism practiced by the Nazis. Jews are a disease that needs to be expunged from society, and this is very much that kind of anti-Semitism. So if this chap thinks he's not a Nazi, well, I've got news for him. And he set up a neat little purity test that Jews have to pass to prove that they're worthy of his coffee. What do you think about a war that's taking place 2,500 miles away over which you have absolutely no influence? Oh dear, wrong answer, get out. You know, if he doesn't understand what he's doing, and I strongly suspect he does, he's an idiot as well as a racist.
Stephen Silverman, when it was pointed out to him that this was an abhorrent sign, his reaction wasn't to remove it altogether. It was initially in the window. He instead moved it inside his store. And then you have to live in hope. We have to have faith in humanity. The authorities did at this point clamp down. They removed the sign and the police got involved. And they removed the sign to prevent danger. There has been outrage across Germany. We have to maintain there is hope. And the windows of the shop had slogans such as Nazis out written on them. So at least there is some hope that there has been a backlash. But the mayor of this town, Flensburg, the mayor Fabian Geyer, he said this is a reminder of the darkest chapters of Germany's history and has absolutely no place in our city. This is the clear statement against Jews. Stephen Silverman, could I pull that back to the United Kingdom? We see survey after survey telling us anti-Semitism is on the rise here. Do you feel we're heading to the same dark location in Britain?
Well, look, Campaign Against Anti-Semitism released a survey a couple of weeks ago, and that showed us a couple of things. 20% of the UK are now anti-Semitic. They believe at least 4 anti-Semitic statements about Jews. The really worrying thing is that increases to 40% in the 18 to 24-year-old demographic. So these are our future politicians, our future teachers, our future judges, our future senior police officers. And the really worrying thing is, to turn this around, government and the institutions that have the ability to deal with it need to be swinging into action now. And they're not. There's no sign of that. You know, and even if they were, it'll be like turning an ocean liner around. It'll be a slow process. So we are heading to a very, very dark place.
Stephen Silverman, I just think these children need to be taught what I was taught. Kristallnacht, the 9th and the 10th of November 1938, the Nazi Party, the SS, Hitler Youth smashed the windows of 7,000 Jewish-owned businesses and rioted and destroyed 1,400 synagogues. That was the first opening chapter to the Holocaust. We cannot go down that route again. I wish you peace, and I hope we can just turn a corner and just stamp this cancer out of anti-Semitism, particularly in the UK. Stephen Silverman, thank you for joining us on a sobering day in news. Thank you very much indeed.